The Power Hour offer. Packaging a single high-value consulting session. One focused hour, one fixed price, one instant checkout link. No proposal required. Most consultants sell their best hour by accident. It's buried inside a 4-week retainer, a discovery call that leads to a proposal, or a package nobody can evaluate without a 30-minute pitch first. Meanwhile, the actual thing people want. 60 focused minutes of your specific expertise pointed at their specific problem never gets sold on its own, even though it's the easiest thing you do to say yes to, and often the most valuable thing you offer. A Power Hour flips that. You take the single session that already gets the best results, put a fixed price on it, and let people buy it the same way they'd buy a course or a template. No call, no proposal, no back and forth. This is how to build that offer and make it the fastest selling thing in your business. Why the Power Hour outperforms the package. A multi-session package asks for a decision that feels expensive and vague at the same time. Expensive because of the total price, vague because the buyer isn't sure exactly what they'll get across 4 or 6 calls. A single hour solves both problems. The price is small enough to be an impulse decision for someone who's already following your work, and the scope is small enough to describe in one sentence. We'll map your pricing structure and you'll leave with a number and a plan. That specificity is what makes it sell without a sales call. Nobody needs to talk to you first to know whether they want the outcome you just described in plain language. The reframe that matters. You're not selling an hour of my time. You're selling the specific result that hour reliably produces. Name the result in the product title, not the time slot. Choosing the 1 hour worth packaging. Not every hour you spend with a client is sellable on its own. The right candidate is the moment in your process that already produces a visible, nameable outcome by itself. The part clients quote back to you afterward. Look at your last 10 client calls and find the one that keeps repeating. The pricing teardown, the first 30 days launch plan, the offer critique, the funnel audit. If a client could walk away after that single hour with something concrete in hand, a number, a doc, a decision made, it's a Power Hour candidate. If it only makes sense as step 3 of 5, it isn't. It produces a tangible artifact or decision by the end, not just clarity in the abstract. It doesn't depend on homework from a previous session to be useful. You could describe the outcome in one sentence a stranger would understand. You've delivered a version of it for free at least once and watched it land. It's the part of your process you'd keep even if you cut everything else. Naming, scoping, and pricing it like a product. Give the session a name that describes the outcome, not the format. The pricing reset beats one strategy call. Then write a scope that draws a hard line around what's included, because the biggest risk to a Power Hour is scope creep, turning it into an unpaid consulting relationship. State explicitly what happens in the hour, what the buyer walks away with, and what's not included. Follow-up emails, a second call, ongoing feedback. A tight scope isn't stingy. It's what lets you price it as a fixed. No negotiation number instead of the usual depends on the project quote that kills momentum on a link in bio impulse buy. Pricing it without a discovery call. Price the Power Hour at a level that reflects the outcome, not the 60 minutes on the clock. This is usually higher than what people expect a call to cost, and that's fine, because you're not competing with free calls, you're competing with the cost of staying stuck. A useful gut check. Price it near what a client would happily pay for the single best insight from a longer engagement, since that's exactly what they're getting. Keep the price visible on the page itself, not contact for rate. Hiding the number reintroduces the friction you built this offer to remove. Building the checkout page to do the selling. Since there's no call before the sale, the product page has to answer every objection a discovery call would normally handle. That means a short, specific description of the problem it solves, who it's for and isn't for, what the buyer leaves with, and ideally a line of proof, a result, a quote, a before-after. Set this up as a coaching call product on your store fan page. Buyers pay first, then land on a scheduling step to pick a time, and the confirmation and reminder land in their inbox automatically. There's no manual invoicing, no chasing a deposit, and no proposal document to draft from scratch every time someone's interested. One sentence outcome in the title, not a generic coaching call label. A short paragraph naming who it's for and who should skip it. The fixed price visible on the page. No inquire language. One proof point. A result, testimonial line, or before-after. Clear statement of what's included and explicitly what's not. Custom checkout fields collecting the context you'd normally ask on a discovery call. A calendar step immediately after payment, not a follow-up email to schedule later. Let custom fields replace the discovery call. Add 2 or 3 custom checkout fields. What's the one decision you need to make in this hour? And what have you already tried? So the session starts with real context instead of the first 15 minutes of every call being intake questions you could have asked at checkout. Delivery. The part that makes it feel like a real product. A power hour lives or dies on how it feels to buy. If payment leads to, "I'll email you to schedule," the impulse buy energy evaporates, and it starts to feel like the old proposal process wearing a new name. The fix is automatic delivery. Once someone pays, they should immediately get a booking link on screen and by email, the same instant handoff store.fan already uses for downloads and courses. Connect Stripe or add a PayPal email once, and Apple Pay and Google Pay work automatically at checkout. Which matters more than it sounds, because a chunk of Power Hour buyers are making this decision on their phone, from your bio link in the 30 seconds after reading a post that convinced them. A proposal makes someone wait to feel like a client. A checkout page makes them one in 30 seconds. Where the Power Hour fits in your bigger business. The Power Hour isn't meant to replace your retainers or bigger packages. It's meant to be the front door to them. It's a low-commitment way for someone to work directly with you before deciding to go deeper, and a meaningful revenue line on its own for people who genuinely only need the 1 hour. Plenty of consultants find it also works as the natural upsell after a free lead magnet or workshop. Someone downloads your free template, reads your posts for a few weeks, then sees the Power Hour and books it without ever needing a sales conversation. That whole path, free download, broadcast follow-up, paid session, runs through one page, which is the case for having a real store instead of a patchwork of tools. Check pricing to see what's included on the free plan versus pro, and look at a live example store to see how a single session offer sits next to other products on one page. Common mistakes that quietly kill Power Hour sales. Most Power Hours that underperform aren't priced wrong. They're scoped or presented wrong in ways that are easy to fix once you spot them. Letting scope creep back in, answering follow-up questions for free after the call quietly turns a fixed product back into open-ended consulting. Hitting the price. Message me for details reintroduces the exact friction this offer exists to remove. No context collected up front. Without custom fields, you're back to spending real session time on intake. Treating it as a downgrade. Pricing it too low signals it's the leftover version of a real package instead of a product in its own right. No path to go deeper. Not mentioning your bigger offer at the end of the hour leaves obvious upsell revenue on the table. The consultants who do this well aren't working harder than the ones stuck writing proposals. They've just moved their best hour out from behind a discovery call and put a price tag on it directly. Name the outcome, draw a hard scope around it, price it as a decision instead of a negotiation, and let checkout do what a sales call used to. Read more guides on productizing services once this one's live. The Power Hour is usually the first of several single-session offers worth building. Key takeaways. Package your single best hour as a standalone product with a fixed scope and fixed price, not a mini version of a bigger package. Remove the sales call from the sales process entirely. The checkout page has to do the convincing. Price it like a decision, not a negotiation. A clear number removes the back and forth that kills impulse buys. Use custom checkout fields to collect context before the call, so the hour starts with answers, not intake. Instant, automatic delivery of the booking link is what makes this feel like a real product, not a favor. Start your creator store free at store.fan.